We're keeping this Transformers Prime train running because now we're taking a look at the first edition ARCEE. Don't worry, it's not a knockoff this time, along with the new Legacy ARCEE. So when it initially came out, the Legacy was redoing these Prime characters. I was pretty excited. And then I saw them, and I saw they were like G1ified. And I was like, I was hoping they were like remakes. But even though Bulkhead, to me, has absolutely no essence of the character beyond the head sculpt, and Knockout has some essence, but not all of it, I think this Legacy ARCEE here actually carries a lot of Prime ARCEE with her. She really does a great job of being like a G1ified version of Prime ARCEE. She still has so much of the same detail, the same look. You can look at this mold and say, yes, this is Prime ARCEE. That's why the Road Rocket repaint, whenever I see it, I'm like, that's just Prime ARCEE with a head that looks like Nightbird. You know, it's a cool-looking figure, but this mold was made for Prime ARCEE. And I think this new Legacy figure, even though, in my opinion, doesn't really hold much of a candle to the original first edition, like, let's just look. Look at the legs. Sure, the wheels aren't inside the legs like they were originally. I think that would have looked really cool if they were. But despite that, you can see she still has the nice silver knee pads. She still has the silver striping along the leg. The torso. The torso is really similar. She has a silver abdomen. She has, you know, like this chest that has like the middle section and then the two outward sections. She has the nice little Autobot symbol right by the collar. She has little wings. She has the blades. Now, granted, they're a lot different now, but she still has the arm blades. The head sculpt, in my opinion, is a really nice interpretation of Prime ARCEE. And unfortunately, she still has pretty much all the same classic Prime ARCEE backpack. What can I say, man? It's Prime ARCEE. It's really nice. I do think this is a really nice figure. Out of all of the Prime remakes, this is probably my favorite one so far. But I do have to say, this first edition is pretty hard to beat. Is it perfect? No. Let's get into some of the issues. So, obviously, it has a big backpack. It's got the wheel kind of sticking there, but it's kind of hard to have the wheel inside the body like it was in the show, and this thing just kind of has nowhere to go. The shoulders, I think they're okay. These wings, instead of being more on her back, are on her shoulders, and it does kind of limit the articulation a little bit, but I think it looks the part. You know, it looks the part. I do actually appreciate how the chest is made out of the front of the motorcycle, even though, unfortunately, because of how it transforms, it's easy to kind of unintentionally expose her. So let's not have a robot flash you. Let's show off the arm blades. They're very large. I think they're a little too big, but still, I like how it looks like they're protruding out of her arms. I think it looks really cool. Nice big blade. The articulation's really nice. You can see like double elbows, nice ball joints, really nice knees. I love how the legs transform. I love how the wheel goes inside. That just looks so cool to me. Overall, man, it's just a nice looking figure. Even the head sculpt actually has some nice character to it. It's got a bit of a smirk. When I see that, I'm like, yeah, that's Prime ARCEE. And honestly, Prime ARCEE is the badass of Transformers Prime. She was so cool. And I think this figure carries a lot of her cool factor. I mean, just look at that. She looks cool. That's Prime ARCEE right there. That is a really nice figure. I really do like this one. And even though you do kind of lose some of the aesthetic, you know, like the arms aren't as slim, the legs don't have as much nice shape to it. That's a sentence. Live with it. I do really wish these wheels fit in right there, but I kind of understand why they don't. Overall, you know, it's nice. I actually do like it has a ball joint at the waist. It can get a little loose at times, but, I mean, it does allow you to get some nice motion out of it. It still captures the look of Prime ARCEE. I see this and I'm like, yeah, that's Prime ARCEE right there. You know, it poses really, really well. Has nice ankle tilt. It's Prime ARCEE. What can I say? How many times do I have to say it? It's great. I think the head sculpt really captures the character. I think all of the head sculpts so far from Legacy have, but more than that, the body. This really represents the character really well in this style. Do I prefer the original style? Absolutely, but I think this style really works for ARCEE here. I think it's really nice. So, with that being said, articulation, ball joint, This is a legacy figure, so it's kind of going away from hinges or ball joints in the body. So it's, you know, swivels, hinges, nice rotation at the wrist. It does have a ball joint at the waist, oddly enough. You can see it's actually a ball joint right in there, but it works decently well. It does have universal joints at the hips. Has a kind of a double knee if you want to totally dislocate her, but it's pretty much just a single, so please don't do that. And like I said, you have a nice ankle tilt and a little bit of motion to get that. So yeah, it seems like the Legacy one has totally killed the first edition. Let's not do that. So there we go. All right, this is going to be the fun part, transforming them. So getting a robot into a motorcycle has been notorious among Transformers collectors for being one of the hardest aspects of doing it. You can see it leaves a lot of stuff hanging off. One thing, though, if you want, I kind of almost forgot to mention this, you can do this and, like, pretend these are throwing stars or something. You can make this, like, an actual weapon for her, which is kind of cool. You know? Almost forgot to mention, it actually does look kind of neat. Oh, I actually do kind of like that. It's got nice paint in there. I'm actually not going to lie. I actually think that's a good use of wheels. You could have it like this on her back as well. And almost make them like turbines or something. I don't know. To be proper, it's just kind of resting there. But still, you could have these on the side of her arm. But I personally think to be more accurate to the character, you kind of have them underslung. I just think that works a little bit better. So anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, transformation. Let's do that. Alright. So, bear with me. Neither of these are easy. So, ARCEE here. Move the chest, and you can see she's got a very odd-shaped body without the chest to give her some shape. The legs, do some leg things. Aw, man. You're, like, if you're one of the people that watches my channel and you're like, I can't stand how he transforms stuff, then you might want to skip ahead. Because we're going to discover this together. We're going to discover how this works together, you and I. We're going to figure it out. So yeah, the foot goes in. That gives you space for the wheel. So wheel goes out a little bit. Foot goes in. I think that goes in as well, right? Man, there's like a little hinge there, but I don't know what it does. I saved you so much pain and suffering. That's not how thumbs are supposed to look. Yeah, that was fun. Anyways, let's keep this train going. So her waist does a rotation. And I don't know if you need to do that, but it does. Is that just for the transfer, for the articulation? I feel like that's... Oh, man. Oh, it's going to be a nightmare. So, it's been a little bit since I've done this. I did do it more recently. Like, I was able to successfully transform her. But I feel like the problems come up when you try to, try to actually do it. Because, man, I love Prime First Edition, right? But sometimes these figures are just... They weren't meant to be easy. You know? You just kind of realize, like, I don't feel like this was meant to ever be easy. And... trying to fiddle around with these little things, you realize, yeah, the designers hate my guts, and they want me to suffer. Like, I see these hinges. Like, what's this hinge for? What's that for, man? What happens with that? I don't know, man. I'm confused. Okay, so that hinge is this, to get the head in. Okay, we're making progress. Then these will move to be the front, I think. We're getting there. We're getting there. Oh man, I don't know what to do with the arms either. Okay, we're getting there. Let's figure out the arms. Let's figure that out. So, whoa! How'd I do that? Yeah, it took some effort. So the heels are on these hinges, but they're so stiff they didn't want to move forward, so I tried moving them back and it made things get in the way, and I just decided not to move them, and it's perfectly fine. So honestly, now that I have done it, now that I know how to do it, I feel like it would be a lot easier for me to accomplish this again. But, trying to figure it out, which for me is a big part of Transformers, you want to figure it out. It is difficult. It is very difficult to figure out. These have holes on them. You can kind of peg these onto the side. Pretty neat. Kind of adds to the look a little bit, but me personally, I kind of prefer not having weapons on my vehicles. So, very difficult. Very difficult if you haven't done it in a long time. But if you know what you're doing, it's doable, and it's pretty fun. And you do get a very nice motorcycle mode. So, that's something. You know, I'll give it that. That's something. So, this one is a little easier, but it's still a motorcycle transformer, so it still has to be just a little complicated, you know, just a little bit. So, this one I've not done in quite a while. Let's see if we can find out together. So this just comes off. It just comes off so easily. And just to make my life a little easier, I'm going to leave it off for just a moment. Please bear with me, I'm sorry. Pretty sure these move down and back. And then that does that, and then, ooh, we're making progress. I think this is what we call progress. I'm pretty sure. And then this will do that. But then I feel like this does this, perhaps? And then, Man, I'm so sorry. This is how I enjoy Transformers, though, just figuring it out. You know, some people, you know, this isn't how you do it. That's fine. I like figuring it out. That's how I do it. So it's actually very interesting. I forgot this is how this one works. So the thighs do something you really wouldn't expect for a motorcycle. They kind of go up and over, and then like fully wrap around the body. I think it's so fascinating. Unfortunately, this figure does kind of suffer from hands kind of sticking out syndrome, but it's not that miserable. It's just a little miserable. It is also one of those where it's kind of difficult to line up the wheels. But once you get it, you get it. And let's put this back on to actually make it look like a complete coherent thing. Alright, that took an embarrassingly long amount of time, but we got it. Put that wheel back on, put that down, and there we go. Here is Legacy ARCEE's vehicle mode. And you do have plenty of places to put this, but who cares? Looks really cool. Honestly, I think this is a super cool motorcycle. I do appreciate that this is on a peg, so you can actually rotate it. This is just a nice motorcycle, man. I'm pretty sure the other one can do that, right? Yeah, the other one can do that. What am I talking about? These are honestly really nice. Both of these figures are really cool in their own way. They're both kind of annoying in their own way because they are motorcycle transformers, and at the end of the day, you kind of have to, like, arrange limbs in ways you wouldn't really expect, and you're kind of working with weird tabs and weird alignments. I got there. Don't worry, I got there. It takes a little bit of time to figure these things out, but once you figure it out, you get it. And that's the fun thing about Transformers for me, is like figuring out how to do it. And honestly, both of these, even though they were a bit of a challenge, were fun to figure out. Both of these are really cool figures. I really do like them. Which one do I recommend? Both of them, honestly. I would say out of all the Prime figures, I really love Knockout because, you know, Knockout's Knockout. But I think this ARCEE is the best Prime Universe Legacy figure we have so far. Now, granted, it's been out for a while. It's a Wave 1 figure, but it does the job, man. That's ARCEE. I think it looks great. The first edition's really awesome. I did have the Robots in Disguise one. I did get rid of that after a while. It's a good figure, too. If that's your Prime ARCEE, definitely nothing wrong with that. In some ways, I do think it's better than the first edition, but I kind of just didn't need it anymore, and it was worth a lot, and I made a decent amount of money selling it, so that is life. Alrighty, guys, there we go. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know which ARCEE you prefer down in the comments below, and also, please try not to roast me about how difficult it is for me to figure out Transformers sometimes. If you're gonna do that, I want to see you upload a video of you transforming Dark of the Moon Sentinel Prime after a decade, no flaws. Do it. I'm just joking. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much. Special shout out to the patrons at Patreon, as always. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Alrighty, there we go. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.